What is up, everyone? I'm Jeff Lund, and this is the Mediocre Alaskan Podcast, where we are intolerant of weak-minded attitudes that keep people from pursuing new and exciting things in the areas of fitness, outdoors, and general lifestyle. My buddy Steve was telling me about a bow hunt he wants to take me on for moose. And as someone who's only taken one animal in my life with a bow, I figured I should probably get some more time in the woods with it before I'm up in the interior of Alaska next August. So, last 2 days I've been out with my bow. It's just different. Going out there, you feel like you have a lot more protection if you have a rifle. You see a bear, it's not as big a deal. But with a bow, it seems like the only possible reaction to a bear being shot with a bow is to charge you, which is not the case. But that's just how I felt, which is something that's the exact reason why I need to get out with my bow as much as possible so I can take hold of those irrational sort of thoughts in that moment. So, went out today for a couple hours. This morning it's been raining, so I was hoping there would be some deer coming out. It's been pretty warm for a while, so the rain hopefully would bring them out, get them moving a little bit. And then, of course, there's some bears. So I have tags for both. I'm out walking around in my waders around this muskeg area, across the creek, just because it seems like it'd be a little bit more difficult for local people to go out. So people who aren't willing to put on some waders and cross creeks or go a little bit further, that tends to be where I kind of like to go, or at least should go. I take those easy routes sometimes too, but for sure it's good to get out and get yourself on some property that doesn't get walked from the easy circuits from the road. So took the waders, put them on, crossed the creek, walking around, and you just get such a different feeling when you're bow hunting, because it's not a matter of jumping something and then getting a shot if it stops and turns and looks. It's not coming to the biggest clearing you can find, and so if anything pops out anywhere, you're going to have a shot. It can reach out and poke 200 yards if you have to. You have to be within an effective range, and even though I'm shooting out to 40, that doesn't mean that I'm necessarily effective to that if it happens to be a deer. You can shoot at a target all you want, but if you're out there and you get the adrenaline going, and there's sticks in the way, and there's just a whole bunch of other variables that you have to deal with. So I need to get out as much as possible. So I'm sitting by this clearing, and nothing at all is happening. And I think there's just, how in the world is anything going to walk right in front of me here? And so I decided to move, which bow hunting also really works on patience, which I don't have a lot of, which I need more of. So I start walking around this muskeg, and I get to a spot near the creek where I crossed, and I thought, this is a pretty good spot for something to be moving. So I stand there for a little while, and I'm in between the creek and the muskeg that I was just looking at. And there's always that little kind of path that circumnavigates the outside of the muskeg. So I hear some rattling in the bushes, and it's not the sleek sort of picking your way through of a deer. It's a bear. And I think, oh gosh, here it is. It's right now. I said, no, calm down. You're good. So I knocked an arrow, and then I just said, wait. And there's that other voice in me who's saying, it's going to eat you if you miss. If you hit it, it's going to eat you too. This thing is trained to attack you. There's no other way that this is going to happen than the bear is going to attack. That little voice is still in me too. I'm thinking, dude, you got to chill. You've got to chill. So deep breath. And all this is happening in like fractions of a second. I'm not sitting there for an entire minute thinking this. This is that little voice inside of me that wants to panic, and I just, no. Fraction of a second, get it down, take a breath, and then I see the bear from behind this stump, and it needs to walk about 10 more feet, and then it'll be like 6 yards from me. It's unbelievable how close this thing is going to be. I'm going to have to kneel down, and I'm going to have to take the shot from that level because there's a branch in the way. And so my brain is back to thinking quickly but rationally. And I see the bear's head emerge, and it's looking right in my direction, but I'm behind this stump, and it can't really figure out what's going on. And it's got big ears, and they're on top of its head. And it just looks not super big. Again, it's anything that you have watched or exposed yourself to can come into play in those moments. And so you look at the ears, and just in the brain, I know that ears on top of the head, big ears, not necessarily good. If you have big ears but they're on the side of the head, maybe. But all those things that have been filed away from experience, from watching Meat Eater, in that moment, it ends up coming to my brain. So I think this is not a real big bear. And I could keep letting it come forward, but because it's not a really big bear, I mean, is it a decent sized or like a really big cub, if that makes any sense? And is there a possibility that it's the lead and that mom is behind it? So thinking that, I'm like, all right, well, how do I get this bear to go away without scaring it? Because if they're spooked, then maybe it runs toward me, or maybe that's when you get some chaos. And so again, somewhere filed in my brain are all these little things to do and to not do. And so I couldn't help but think about that massive grizzly bear that was coming right toward Tyler Friel. And there's a video that you can check out, and it's crazy. The bear is coming right toward him, and he didn't want to spook the bear, and so he just very calmly speaks to let the bear know that it's there, and the bear spooks and runs away. So it's a gentle reminder or a gentle notification to the bear, rather than a shocking yell or a scream that would then make the bear panic. So the bear turns and runs.
After years of fine print contracts and getting ripped off by big wireless providers, if we've learned anything, it's that there's always a catch. So when I first heard that Mint Mobile offers premium wireless starting at just $15 a month, I thought, what's the catch? But after talking to them and using their service, it all made sense. There isn't one. Mint Mobile's secret sauce is that they're the first company to sell wireless service online only. They cut out the cost of retail stores and pass those sweet savings directly to you. For anyone who hates their phone bill, Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for just $15 a month. I was hesitant about having to get a new phone and a new phone number, but with Mint, you can use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and keep your same phone and your same phone number along with all of your existing contacts. Mint Mobile gives you the best rate whether you're buying for one or for a family, and at Mint, families start at 2 lines. All plans come with unlimited talk and text plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Switch to Mint Mobile and get premium wireless service starting at just $15 a month. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and to get the plan shipped to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/waypoint. That is mintmobile.com/waypoint. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/waypoint.
But so I say, bear, it's okay. I'm not here for you. And then it goes away, turns, and it moves quickly, but it doesn't, run and break branches as it's going. I didn't hear anything else break, so that makes me think that it was not with mom. But at that moment, that was the decision that I made. So it was cool to make those sort of decisions in that moment. I was 10 yards away from a bear that if it kept walking, it was probably going to be 10 to 15 foot shot. But in my brain somewhere, dialing in and holding back the panic was this, what do you got to look for in that moment? Is it big or is it not? If it isn't big, is there a chance mom is there? And then how do I get this bear away without scaring it? I still have a stump between me, and so how do I gently let it know that I'm here and get it to get out of there rather than have it walk by, be exposed, and then spook. So I think I did well. I'm excited. It was good to be out there, get within shooting range for bow, and there it is. That was the highlight of the weekend. Went to another spot in the sun Saturday. Went and camped Friday night. And went up high, and there's just nothing going on up there, at least that I saw. A week ago when I was up there with a buddy of mine, he saw a couple, and I was down low. And so last week I should have gone high, and I instead went low. This week I went low, and this week I went high and should have gone low. So I guess that's the way it is with hunting. But that's the thing, when it comes to bow hunting, and people might be asking, well, why do you bow hunt in the first place? What, you need a bigger challenge? What's wrong with you? Why do you make it so sporty? But I hunted in California for a couple years, and what I mean by hunting is I walked around in the woods with a rifle. And I saw tons of people that it was just impossible to really get away from people. Well, it wasn't impossible, I just didn't know where I was going, what I was doing, and I didn't have anybody to go with, and so I was just trying to figure it out by myself. And there's just people everywhere. It was crazy. So I wanted to get away from people, and the only way I could really get away with people is to look into getting a bow license so you can bow hunt, because you get an earlier season and there's a lot fewer people that bow hunt. So just for access sake and just for time's sake and lack of crowding sake, that bow hunting made a lot of sense. So I didn't bow hunt when I was in California, but that's kind of first planted the seed, and now that there's some opportunities around Alaska that are bow hunts, really made me get into it. And there's also a feeling of required skill, because there's no you can say that there's the primal, you're out in there and you're getting your meat and feel really good about it. I've talked about that a whole lot. But it is a little bit different when you're going out there with a bow rather than a rifle, because our ancestors obviously weren't hunting with sophisticated rifles and scopes and all that. So I think it requiring much more skill is going to be appealing, because it's still not really a fair fight since I'm using a projectile. But it does make it a little bit more fair, and I have to be better. So that does appeal to me. And that can be interpreted as I'm making a game out of it, or I need a bigger rush or whatever. But people that don't like hunting are going to not like hunting. They're going to yell, and they're going to be the people who are hunters that yell back, and that don't really help things. But either way, we're not going to see eye to eye with everybody. People aren't going to understand why we hunt, period, and why we bow hunt even more. But that's the way it is. If I enjoy it, if I think one of the better ways that I can spend a weekend is to go camp and try to find a deer with a bow, and then or a bear, that I feel alive. It was a good morning. So that's I think that's kind of one of the things that we've got to do in order to be a little bit happier, in order for the world to be a better place, is to do things that make us happy, make us alive, that are real. That it's a deeper connection with what's going on. So there that is. A little more practice with the bow. I got to shoot more, and I'm going to try to put down a deer and a bear. But man, I getting a little low on deer meat, so I might have to break out the rifle, which is counterproductive. I'm thinking about it right now. I shouldn't. I should make myself go get meat with the bow. That way I don't use the rifle as a crutch. I remember the first time I learned how to fly fish when I was in my mid-20s. I came up to Alaska during the summers, as I did every summer, and I knew how to fly fish, but I went back to my old ways when I was in Alaska, because I thought, if there's a bunch of salmon here and I want to catch them and I want to take them back to California with me to eat during the year, well, the best way to catch the fish is to use a spinning rod. And do I really want to take all this time and waste this opportunity during the summer to get all frustrated catching or trying to catch salmon with my fly rod? So there are times where I would bring both. I'd bring my spinning rod and my fly rod, and I would just leave my fly rod in the truck. So I think you have to force yourself. Now I love catching fish with my fly rod, and I've done it a bunch. So, but I guess there is that need, that necessary, and you can't use it as a crutch, because I'm not going to be able to just take out the rifle on this bow-only hunt. So maybe that will be the ultimate motivator to get good, go out and be nice and quiet and take a good shot, because if I don't have meat, and I don't get meat unless I have a good bow hunt, that's what I got to do. So there you go. An on record moment of illumination, I guess, right there, which I probably knew, but just admitting to it, I guess. So that'll do it for this short little recap episode. Thanks for going to the mediocrealaskan.com. Get some good traffic there. Make sure that you continue to go there. Anybody has any requests or questions, please email them to me, or you can direct message on Instagram, the Mediocre Alaskan, or my own Instagram, Alaska Lund. Check that out. Send me questions, send me ideas. I likely don't have the answer for a lot of them, but I got some buddies who are much more knowledgeable than I am, and they can provide anything that you need there. So appreciate the feedback, appreciate interactions, and we will talk to you next time.